Hey everybody, it's Bust, Battles with Bust number 33. Today we're coming at you with a little bit of action Garen. And so, as Riot just posted in the 3.5 patch notes, the next patch coming out, that'll be around the 26th or so of April, Garen will be receiving a rework along with LeBlanc and Udyr. And so he could be wildly different. Who knows what we'll see out of Garen, but I did want to get a last chance to play with our favorite elite bro before he's gone in his in his current form. We've played tons and tons and tons of Garen and Expedition. It's unfortunate he hasn't had the same kind of success over here in Constructed, but maybe that will change here in the next couple of weeks. But before he went away, we wanted to give him a proper send-off, some good old battles in Masters. And so we will be doing a base Demacia deck here. As we've been talking about with decks here over the recent weeks, you have to be ready for the Sun Disk and have some kind of plan for it. And so it's currently about 20% of the meta. It's been dropping, but it's been holding steady around 18-20%. And in terms of unit-based decks, you have to be ready to do one of three things, right? You have to either attack through it with a bunch of overwhelms, and so that's what you'll see with the likes of the various like Darius Nar decks, the Sejuani decks, the Gangplank decks. You have to be able to attack around it with elusives. That would be where you have your like Yordles and Arms with Fizz and Daring Poros, or you would find something like your Victor Ambush decks, or you have to be able to attack twice. That's what we're going to be doing here with this deck. So you get in your first attack, you clear out your opponent's board, and then your second attack should be good enough to chunk in some serious damage. And so here we'll be seeing the Golden Aegis and then Garen himself as our means of getting the rallies. And then with these decks, there's two other things that we really like to push forward. You need to have some way to come in and get board control. And so we have a really strong early game package here. We have the Fleet Feather Tracker and the Petricite Broadwing as challengers. We have the Bright Steel Protector to give them barrier for the challenger attacks. And then we have the Penitent Squire to generate the Tattered Banners, which you can then put onto action for quick attack challenges, or you can put onto Honored Lord for the barrier challenges. And so ideally in the early game, we'll be able to build up some board presence, and then we'll just boost everything with the likes of either Vanguard Bannerman or Cithria the Bold. And then otherwise, everything's pretty standard. We have a good combat trick package between Radiant Strike and Sharp Sight. We are playing Radiant Strike over the Shaped Stone because we have the Vanguard Bannermans in our deck. We have the good strike/combat package with the single combat, the Cataclysms, and the Concerted Strikes. Playing the little bit odd numbers on the single combat and the Cataclysm because we do get value out of these free attacks. Whether or not that is something like the Honored Lord picking up an additional barrier, or just getting a good strike on Garen without having to use the single combat style card. And then we have the Concerted Strikes as our kind of late game, more powerful strike effect. So all in all, pretty powerful, similar to the likes of a Action Sivir list or the various Demacia lists we've been playing over the past few days. Not actually out here running our bro Stony Suppressor in this one. I feel like we're a little bit too heavy to look to play the Stony Suppressor in an action deck. I don't really want to see the Warlord's Palace come down and flip and then us not be able to drop the 0 mana card because we have a Stony Suppressor on the board. But a lot of the same ideals still run through this deck. Boost all of your units, get those rally attacks in there. And so that is the deck. We looked to see if we had to pay the pay-to-win price. Not so today. Everything in the deck already premium. Look at all this. Everything looking good, looking strong. Everything is shiny. I don't think either of these champions have skins, and so maybe with a rework to Garen, he'll get a skin while he's at it. But maybe, does he have a pool party? Maybe there is a pool party Garen. I didn't look. I felt like we were premiumed enough for the day. So let's get in here. This is cool. I enjoy this deck. It's a nice throwback to a lot of the stuff we saw in Expedition, having the Garen and the Jarvan based elites decks, getting all of the challengers going and trying to find the Bannerman and balancing your attack or your card counts and trying to hit allegiances. Oh no, it was pretty powerful stuff. But here, let's hang on to our early plays. Lost our cursor. Pisses me off when that happens, but the Broadwing Honored Lord are a good enough early game package here. Nice collection, nice collection. This is like the troll chant starts we see out of the Freylord decks, where you have a 2-drop into a 2-drop into a good combat trick. Sharp Sight not nearly as good as the troll chant in this case, but pretty powerful nonetheless. Okay, then not exactly sure what this guy's bringing. We did just play Poppy Galio a couple of videos ago. Looks to probably be something pretty similar to that. Might get him good with this Sharp Sight. That's kind of tough though, right? I don't want to get super invested in this action, because we do just have another one in our hand. And so I think this is okay. Like if we go for the Sharp Sight here, he has 2 mana, so it's not unreasonable to think he won't just drop another combat trick in, but I think that's okay. I'm really surprised to see him not come in and hook action. So it's interesting with the Broadwing. Brings a single combat back onto action. Okay. Keeps our Broadwing at full health, which is kind of interesting. Alright, let's get the action down. I don't think we'll be single combating this turn. I think we'll probably just play the Honored Lord, but let's wait and see. He's not spending any mana, kind of odd. Not a ton you can do with a Yordle Smith. Durand Protege. Alright, let's battle. So we don't get to kill the Yordle Smith, but our action gets the strike in. He'll be flipping next turn. Still a relevant unit on the board with the challenge. There's our boy. Garen ready to come in here and do stuff. Block. Oh, he's bringing it. He's still bringing it. Wow, did not expect that. Okay, we can take 3 damage from the Yordle Smith. That's not a big deal. Single combat F. Okay. You tried, my dude. Still a pretty reasonable spot here. We got a lot of power. It's another Garen. I like it. We gotta get our bro in the forefront out here, just doing big things. Should have a pretty safe attack this turn. Okay. Takes the big 8 hit. All right. So we do have like a few options on this turn. If he opens, it's not even that big of a deal. Like it sucks that he would be able to like hook action and then just take him down, but looks like that's not going to be a problem. Let's start here. Let's try and take down this Poppy first. It's tough for him to have like too many responses here. Shield of Durandi. No. So how much do we have to worry about this? Like, we have to play this concerted. We don't have to play the concerted strike now, but if we want to deal with Poppy, we have to play it right now. I'm not so much interested or worried about her anymore, as much as the big dragon thing over here. And so, man, that's tough. I think we just need to take down the dragon, except that we're going to lose action to the Petricite Broadwing. And then we can look to just deal with Poppy. Well, what if we can take the damage from the Mountain Drake? Okay, I'm on board with this, I think. We'll strike first with the Garen, so he should be able to flip this turn. What's that? He already had... Why did he hit? Oh, he struck last round, I guess. Jesus, just takes us to 3? It's pretty tempting just to take all this damage. And then we could be ready with like Golden Aegisuses and stuff next turn. We can flip the Warlord's Horde if we need to. I don't remember what unit we would be getting out of the vulnerable thing, but this is gonna be good. Okay. I'm convinced. So, we have 9 mana. I don't think we're going to play the grappling hook this turn. But if we do the Aegeus, the Honored Lord, the Squire, that's like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's everything except the grappling hook. I think that's okay. So we can do like the barrier hook onto Mountain Drake. That sucks. That sucks. Don't have any great hits with Garen now. Like, and both Galio and Mountain Drake capable of taking him down. F. Alright, so there's the start. Now we're going to Golden Aegeus onto Garen. That's going to flip the Warlord's Horde. We want to use the strongest ally plus vulnerable to everything. Oh, picked up a Garen? Huh. I guess we can we can do stuff with the Garen next turn. I guess we can bring that judgment upon his board. Wasn't quite what I was thinking if we'd pick up. Does he stay at like 3 cost next turn? Because he now costs 0. I've never seen this interaction happen. That's very interesting. Oh no, we can't hook his Galio. He's not going to be able to flip because we can just do a ton of damage with Garen here. But that was the plan. This at least takes him down to 22. He shouldn't be able to gain 3 health this turn. Okay. Wow, that did not sequence out how I expected. I did not expect this Garen to be coming back to our hand. But I am ready for this 3 mana judgment. Oh, we're gonna boom here, I think. How much does she just boost the whole team? We can give Garen +2 with the sharp sight, so he'll be big enough to take down Galio, big enough to take down Mountain Drake. Okay. So, if we put Garen here, he won't die to the Bright Steel. 7 takes down Galio, 7 takes down Mountain Drake. We're still going to have to block these units in case he has a combat trick, but that's a pretty good start. Then let's put let's put the Honored Lord in front of Poppy, because this is the unit that would actually be dying here. And we can do this. And so I guess if these units survive, we're just going to die to the impact. But if he doesn't have a trick here, we'll only fall to 1 because we take the 2 impact from Poppy, then the judgment kills everything. Oh no, we're going to die to this one, aren't we? Fuck. God damn it. I don't know. I don't know about that one. Maybe we could have done something there. That completely weirded me out with not getting a unit out of the Warlord thing. But GG, my dude. That was a fun one. Okay, and so I will mention I did speak in a previous video that I might have a upcoming project that would take me away from Runeterra, potentially. It didn't happen, and so the project in question was jury duty, and so I got summoned to jury duty. They said it was gonna be like 3 or 4 weeks of like testimony and stuff, and it's like, fuck, this is gonna be abysmal if we get called in. It's like, you know, if you get called in and it's like a day or 2, then like whatever, but like spending like 3 and 4 and 5 weeks of time dedicated to jury duties, it's a pretty big ask. And so I was a little relieved to not get called. I was deep in the list, like the way that they strike out all the people. I was at like the very end, and so I was getting like actually, fairly nervous that I was going to get called in. Ooh, interesting. He's playing Galio. I don't know what Galio Kindred is, but it's like I kind of want to save this Honored Lord for a future hook since he's big enough to take down Kindred. So I'm just going to go with the Fleet Feather Tracker Barrier this turn. But yeah, it was interesting in that I kind of thought it would have been interesting to do. I talked it over with the people at work. They were okay with it. We just figure out how the fuck they would manage without me being there for a month. But there's some like complications to it as well. It's like it is a murder trial. And so that's pretty heavy. You have to be putting a person's freedom on the line. You convict them for murder, you're essentially done. I'm sure you'll go through a lengthy appeals process for the rest of your life, but that's fairly heavy in terms of this human being is going to be in prison probably forever if convicted, and so then you have to go and see all like the crime scene stuff and all that, and that's kind of gross. And so I was kind of into it. I was kind of like that's going to be like a once in a lifetime thing, being on a jury trial for a murder. Also, it's a big ask to come out of your life, and then it just kind of feels bad, right? Everybody likes to get picked for something, and so for them to be like, nah, man, you're not doing it. It's kind of disappointing to that end. But here, it's like I'm kind of okay with just letting action fall. We have another one in our hand. We can save the trick for later. Quit making emotes, dude. I'm talking about jury duty. Nobody gives a shit about you. This is all about me. And so, yeah, it was tough. And so we didn't get to do it. Didn't get to go through with it. But that was what was going to take me away from Runeterra for a bit. And that's tough, right? I mean, I don't know if it's like an all-day thing. They didn't tell us, kind of the details on what actually happens in the trials and stuff. And so I just kind of assumed it was an all-day thing. And so it's like if you got a month of your life with like 8 hours at jury duty, then you're on the hook for quite a bit. Yeah, I think this is fine. Even if we lose our unit, it's okay. And so yeah, it didn't happen. We're off the hook for a while. Don't have to deal with that. Get to continue to make our daily videos playing children's card games. You all get your daily entertainment from this, and so some perks across the board. Can we just win the game here? We can play the Golden Aegis, hook something with the Honored Lord. I think we just go for the win. Let's not do it that way, though. Let's put the barrier stuff down first, and then we can burst the Sandstone Charger onto the board. GG. That's what you get for dropping emotes, dude. I'm out here trying to tell people about jury duty, giving the people a little insight into the life of FTP Bust. Starts dropping the emotes. Get that shit out of here. That's why you lose, my dude. You didn't even have any premium cards. So, picking up those victories, moving on. So yeah, that's tough. I don't know. I'm glad to be out of it. It's so wild. It's like if you're going in there for like a day and you see like 3 or 4 different trials or something. I don't know how that stuff works either, but you assume that if they're just churning through them, like I think with COVID, they just churned through a lot of like the minor stuff, and so that's why I got kind of like slapped with murders. But I knew that they were doing everything on Zoom there for a while, and so it's kind of a tough spot to be in for them, I guess. But alrighty, back to the Runeterras. Not a bad start here. Lots of early game power. We'll see what we drop. This is like a little tough. I want to prevent all of this damage. I think we can go ahead and just drop the Bright Steel. That shuts down his attack here. If he wants to attack just for the damages and lose his unit, that's pretty okay. And then on the flip side attack here, you know, we still get to have a pretty good challenge on the Fleet Feather Tracker. They're pretty likely to just be dropping, you know, the same thing we talked about a couple games ago, to where you have the double twos and then a Troll Chant. And so, kind of odd to see him not play cards. He's going to get, like, quite boomed. Guess he just doesn't have the Troll Chant, but it's a pretty painful turn. Monkey Idol, you got it. Monkey Idol, aka not good enough for Expedition. So here, I'm going to go for the Broadwing and then bank the mana. I want to get a Garen attack next turn, along with the single combat onto something so that he flips. The prime target being Monkey Idol. Alright, let's kill some stuff. I think, like, I don't want to fall too low. I think I just don't want to give up action either. And so, like, these can go, these can go. This is a fair block. Get to hang on to action. It's just like, as it cycles back around, we want to have good rally attacks 2 turns from now. So it kind of sucks to lose the units, but I think just developing board is going to be enough. So we should be, like, relatively safe here, right? There's not tons of stuff to interact well with our Garen. So let's do this. Let's get our attacks in. Make it rain. I guess we can work with this. This is the space to where we have to single combat down the Monkey Idol. This will get our Garen to flip. This thing still dies. He's gonna have a zap, but we get to protect our 0/1. We get the Garen flip. This all looks pretty good. It's tough for him to have a 1-mana card to get out of this. Check them flips. Okay, I dig it. So if he plays, like, a Gangplank here, then we have the Concerted Strike to take him down. If he doesn't do anything like that, then we have Cytherea. Probably looking to just play a Concerted Strike this turn. Well, not anymore. Sejuani makes that a little awkward. But our Garen should be safe, right? There's not a ton that he can do. He can, like, come in and slam with Sejuani and put some damages on him, but he can't get a lethal. Okay. That's the scary thing here. The potential for Sejuani to AoE Frostbite our team. Oh, this is all pretty awkward. Okay. Well, here comes the squad. Let's see what happens, I guess. He's just planning on blocking action. I wanted to be able to respond to, like, a Make It Rain or a face damagey kind of card. There's nothing we can do about Warning Shot, but if he tries to, say, play, like, a double up style card, then we have quite a bit of potential to come in and shut this down. Why would he put this block onto Garen? Interesting. So I think we want to strike with our 2 smaller units out here. He can, well, Fury of the North is the problem. There's 2 problems, right? If we hit with, like, Cytherea and he has a Frostbite, then this is going to fail. But if he has a Fury of the North, I guess we should probably just hit with the Cytherea. Right, but if he comes in and Frostbites the Cytherea, we still get the kill because of Garen. Okay, that's fine. Nice. I like it. I'm curious what his angle is for playing the thing to get the damage going on Garen. That's like odd that he went about it that way, but got him. Okay. Okay. Look at that. Garen taking down all the victories. Way better than playing some kind of Echo Zillion deck. The deck's trash. So maybe they should rework Echo and Zillion because they're so trash in comparison to in comparison to Garen. We'll see if we play against it. I was expecting to see a lot of it since Mage and Bay put out a video in the past day or so, and everyone's all hype about the deck. It's garbage. You heard it here first. It is not a good Legends of Runeterra deck. I have it pulled up. I had the stat thing ready to go because I just kind of like suspected we would run into it because I've played against it a lot in my practice games. But we'll see. Let's focus on this game here for a moment. I wanted to find some of our more interactive stuff. If you can come in and like really get like barrier attacks on some of these early Pantheon units, then you have a pretty good chance to just jump ahead. But we're falling behind pretty quickly here. And this is all around pretty awkward. We want to play Fleet Feather Tracker Brightsteel, but if we go about that, we're going to miss out on the ability to play Sharp Sight. I mean, he's tapped out. We can play the Honored Lord and see if he bothers to attack into it with the Brightsteel. If he does, we'll just trade. But right, you usually have two angles against Yuumi Pantheon. You could put a lot of barriered attacks into their growing unit, and so you try and take down the unit while still building out your board, or you just ignore it and try to go wide around it. This is going to be a go wide around it style of game. Right? We're going to hook it here because we can put some free damage on it, but we're never going to be able to kill this Saga Seeker. But right, kind of the idea would be is like he'll attack next turn, he'll hit us for like 6 with this Saga Seeker, but we're getting like pretty close to a full board. And then once we have board, we can just say like hook the Saga Seeker with the Fleet Feather Tracker and then ignoring for the rest of the day. Now it is kind of tempting to throw a Brightsteel Protector in front of this, because we do have the Concerted Strike in hand. It's like we can add Garen next turn, can't really attack with him. Well, we can attack with him with a Tattered Banner. I think that's how we want to go about this. So we'll put the damage on the Saga Seeker. Add the Squire. This gets us to a full bank for next turn. Now we can Tattered Banner down Garen. Still like it even after drawing action. And then hook his little Saga Seeker with Garen. That gets us the strike in. It's kind of an awkward timing for the strike since we won't have the rally for next turn. But getting all of our Garens boosted, pretty nice. Wonder if he's going to come in and hush Garen to protect his 5/3. Concerted Strike. That hits for 8. That's a problem. Okay. Man, these turdy one attack sharp sights aren't enough to take down the Saga Seeker anymore. That's kind of a disaster. Being able to make it a 4/3 would be gigantic here. I think I'm still okay to try and take down the 2/3 though. Gotta improve in some way here. There's still like, if we have some kind of like magical chain of cards to where we hit like a rally and we hit Cythria or something, we can still very realistically come in and deal tons of damage. All right. See if he tries to drop the Zenith Blade onto Pantheon. We can hit him with the Concerted Strike. We're still in like a crappy spot in terms of dealing with the 6/4, but we do get the Pantheon off of the board. Might have been a little greedy from L opponent here. Some of this chip damage is nice in terms of if he gets another big Overwhelm unit on board, then we're kinda protected. Oh my gosh, this is such a tempting hit. It's like if he has like a sharp sight. Ooh, this is still good if he has a sharp sight, right? Let's do this. So if he plays like the sharp sight to protect his Saga Seeker, then we could still come in and hook it to get that extra 2 damage. Right, this is the same thing as a sharp sight, so you can still potentially get out of this a little bit, right? Oh no, I just mathed that 100% wrong. 100%. I didn't count something there. I thought this was going to be at 2. I think we're still okay with the play, but it's not nearly as good as I wanted. Yeah, this just has not panned out. Have to get a blocker in front of the Saga Seeker. If he has like a boost plus open, there's a decent chance that we're just dead this turn. Or play Pantheon. Okay, well you got Quick Attack, Overwhelm, Challenger, Lifesteal. 8/12. We can not 100% dead. But if it's very easy for him to have combat tricks and stuff to. Wow. Okay. I don't really feel like we're going to be winning this game, but that was nice to see. I'm curious if we shouldn't have played the banner. Okay, sure. If we could have found ourselves in a spot to where we drew a targeting card and we could have flipped the Warlord's Horde the next turn, then we could have picked up the Sandstone Charger and put the Tattered Banner onto the Charger, so that we could get like a 5 damage attack into Pantheon, but wasn't quite there. That's a tough matchup. That's one of those decks to where I'm really surprised it's not much more popular in the meta. It was one of the top decks in the previous meta, and then everybody just quit playing it to play with the memes and the Sun Discs, and I'm pretty sure Pantheon has a really strong matchup against the Sun Disc. Has a really strong matchup against every single deck we like to play, and so that's what we've been dealing with here recently. But here, not a bad start. We get the turn 1 attack action, and then into the Bannered Honored Lord. Pretty good stuff. Can be slightly awkward here if he opens with Ruin Runner. We kind of have to like throw action in front of it, but or Rock Hopper, not Ruin Runner. It's not like an end of the world pass though.
I've been sent. What a shame for you! Keep the pace. If you hurt him, I've learned a trick or two.
All right, so emptying out the board. This is quicksand. Sure. That's a little unfortunate. I thought this round was going to go pretty nicely, but without having the action on board, it really slows us down into getting these bannermen going. This is not if you take a look at our board, this is not a board that the bannerman looks very good on, as you play him onto 0 units. It is not that great. But here, I will trade action for the 2/2, because then we just get to immediately replay another action. At least we get to spend all of this mana here. Or Demacia. Such premium. Look at this. I guess this guy does have the premium sun disc. That's a thing, I guess, but not nearly as premium and good looking as we are. So we'll hit with Garen. I wouldn't be surprised to see him get popped by that thing that does 4 damage after you sacrifice a landmark. Doesn't look like it's going to be coming in. Okay. So we are building up to a pretty powerful Cytheria and a rally. Okay. So we have 2 options here, right? As we start to play units, it's going to level up the Xerath, which is little problem. Like the roiling, the first 2 aren't that big of a deal, right? They're just going to deal a point of damage. It's the 3rd one that he's going to hit here that's going to cause a problem for us. So I'm kind of like okay with conceding that Action's about to die, but it's like, do we want to go for this like Cytheria barrier next turn? If we want to go for the Cytheria barrier next turn, then we can't play Bright Steel because we need to bank 1 mana here. I think I'm okay with this idea. Okay. Now I guess I didn't stop to think about this angle because I was so intent on making the mana work here. We can put a barrier onto Action and have that be the way to try and soak up the Xerath hit. Right, so we play the Bright Steel, put the counter onto Action. Then we do have the mana to do like Bright Steel, Bannerman, and a Golden Aegis. I think I like this. Let's get this big old boom of an attack in this turn.
The Emperor commands, the land obeys. One banner, one destiny.
Brings in the Waking Sands. Okay. Now, I guess the new question is, do we just give up on it at this point? With attacking into these 2 like ephemeral units when he has all of this mana doesn't seem ideal. So I think we give up on it here and we look to make an attack next turn, or see if he starts to like overwrite things. He did not. So it is like a little problem if he does drop, say, like an Azir right now. Azir should be flipped and that'll pop the Sun Disc. Really? That's very greedy.
Talk is worthless. We are what we do.
Okay, so that fizzles the team spirit. Interesting. I mean, I guess he was really going for it in terms of not wanting to target the Sun Disc, but that seems kind of greedy. So here, I guess we're just in the space to like we could give everything +1 attack with the Relic of Power, but let's start with the Golden Aegis and see what happens. I'm gonna go ahead and load up Garen. I don't want to lose him here. Okay. We're ready with another one, my dude. So he's kind of like running out of mana. I don't worry. I'm going to just Aegis up one of our smaller units now. Let's hit the 4/4 that has Vulnerable on it. Actually, we should go ahead and do this. Give everything +1. Do we want to do that? That seems like kind of greedy, given like we're not going to like end the game this turn, I don't think. We'll save the predict draw, but I still want to barrier this vulnerable unit. Okay, well, that's kind of annoying having the additional unit come down, but... What is this? He's really blocking Garen with Xerath?
Find your own.
With 2 mana? I'm not sure what that would be. Oh, Hourglass, that makes sense. Okay. So he's gonna... the stasis statue will blow up our smallest unit. Looks like that's gonna be a Vanguard Bannerman. Not that big of a deal. Gonna replace with Cythria here. I think I do want the single combat, though. Give us at least an interactive element for the next turn. He is down to 2 cards at this point. The Broadwing.
Been a long path to get here.
I had to like stop and check and see if Garen's even hit a single strike this game. He has. He's got 1 under his belt, but not a lot.
Honor guide me.
The wicked must fall.
Okay. That's about as good as it's going to get. I mean, it's close. Like, we might be able to win the game this turn with like a Broadwing giving us an additional attacker, but it feels like ultimately a pretty greedy line to take. Looks like he's going to play another Ancient Hourglass here on his Xerath. He's going to lose 2 units. Yeah, we would have only been doing like not 15, like 14. So I think I'm pretty happy to have the Warlord's Horde on the board.
You should watch this.
Okay, I think we just won. Perfect. So we kill the Xerath. Garen's gonna flip. We'll get the rally for next turn. I like it, my dudes. I like it. Alright, shouldn't be any top deck that they could have. Even weird shit like Spirit Fire doesn't get out of this one. He's gonna play Azir, so we have to watch like half-hour worth of animations. Let's be real. That's the way this game's gonna go. All right, I'm glad the Culp shot didn't land there.
Vengeance with a smile.
Not bad, not bad. Doing your thing, Garen. I'm glad to see you getting flipped and opponents having to actively play around him and stuff. It's like playing a deck like this. You have to stop and say is like, well, is this Garen ever better than Sivir? You know. Sivir has a lot of abilities attached to her, but there's no denying that this flip ability is pretty powerful, just getting the free rallies every turn. All right, up against the ramp deck, I don't really want to hang on to Radiant Strikes. I want to just take the Broadwing and then search for other cheap plays. Gotta just slam out here and see if we can't beat down before they start dropping avalanches on us. This is a place where it's pretty powerful with the Bannerman. In that, say we come in here and curve, and then he tries to have to get us with like a Blighted Ravine. So if he banks into like a turn 3 ramp, turn 4 Blighted Ravine, then the Bannerman gets us out of a ton of the damage. What you got? This is going to be something we don't approve of. Well, that's not horrible, but it's not great. Prevents a lot of damage. But he doesn't have a ramp card, which the Trundle Tryndamere deck doesn't have Targon's Peak, right? They're not playing whatever faction that is, and so you do get a little bit more time as they play more AoEs. They play a bunch of dumb shit like Withering Wail, but you don't have to worry about like the turn 4 Targon's Peak coming down, and then they usually don't get units online until turn 7 or turn 8.
A symbol worth fighting for.
See, this is kind of what I was talking about. If he's just like, okay, I'm going to pass and see if you play units, and so you add units, and then he brings in the Blighted Ravine, right? The Blighted Ravine. I think I want to just heal in the Broadwing, right? If we go into next turn, and we play Garen, and then he plays Trundle, I think I want to have the Broadwing on board so that we can get a get a hook onto the Trundle.
For king and country.
I like it. Could have looked to put a banner onto Garen, but that one feels a little more risky. Not surprised to see like a vengeance come down here, but ooh, that feels like a pretty spicy turn.
Come on in.
Okay. Cythria's ready to party now.
What do you have?
Doesn't look like a turn where we're going to get usage out of a concerted strike, so let's add Cythria. Can look to just open next turn
See far and clear.
and then rally. It's not like the greatest since he can take down our Penitent Squires with his Tavern Keepers. Oh, that's interesting. I think we want to slam the unit.
I've got your back.
It's like a Vengeance gets really awkward if we don't add the width to our board.
Just a little farther.
The wicked must fall.
Okay. All right.
The torches. I've carved meat bigger than you.
We'll get in for 10 so far. And the Vengeance on Garen. Sad day. So this is going to take him to 9. We're still going to have Cythria. The rally is enough to kill him at this point. It's like, got to take a moment to stop and think if we want to protect any of this stuff. I think here we want to Radiant Strike the Protector. So it survives. And now we should get an additional hit in with our Golden Aegis.
Light the signal fires.
Is that the stuff right there? I think it is. We're about to really bring the heat. And you have to remember, both of our units still have Fearsome, right? So if he tries to play, say, like an Avarosian Sentry and a two-mana way to kill our Cythria, then we can still power through that. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Look at this Garen coming in, guaranteeing that he's not going to have a losing win percentage today. Higher win rate than the Zillion decks. Let's see if that's what we're going to play here. Then I'll pull it up real quick. It's Scouts. This is what blows my mind with the Zillion deck, right? I pulled it up earlier. It's the past 3 days in Platinum Plus. Just loses hard to the Sun Disk, loses hard to Ezreal. Caitlyn has a little negative matchup against Riven Victor. It's like the only things this has a positive matchup against are Lulu Fizz and then like the ramp deck. It just gets crushed by everything else. It's like I don't get why people are that into it. I don't think it's like on the one side of the table, it's just not a good deck. The thing that I don't like about it is predict as a mechanic is fine in terms of we're just gonna slow down here. I'm gonna get a barrier down. Predict as a mechanic is fine in terms of doing it like once or doing it like twice. But when you get into these games to where your opponent's like, hey, Herder, watch this, I'm gonna spend an hour getting a predict, and I'm going to take the full rope amount of time to think about every predict. That gets like not fun real fast, and it's like a real like arch, if you will, in terms of the amount of time people take on their predicts. Like people that are new and fresh to the game take forever on predicts because they don't know what they're doing. They haven't seen a lot of the obvious just like picks, and they don't know how things work, and they have to stop and read all of the cards. And then the people in Masters like to take forever because you have to stop and think real hard about everything that you do. And so it's just abysmal all across the board. Nice hit in the Treasure Seeker. Oh my god, we got Akshan on our deck. Fuck. This is painful.
I have urgent news.
It's really bad to miss on the allegiance here. One, and that our units are, gonna Gonna suffer the weakness. We can't deal with the Island Navigator with our Bright Steel Protector. And then 2, who knows when we're ever going to be able to play Action, right? If we're going to drop Garen this turn, Action's not really on the table for a few more turns, and the Warlord's Palace is never going to flip. This is, sad noises. Sad noises.
Nothing gets between
He drops Quinn. Okay. Not a ton we can do on this board. We'll still hit with Garen. He's guaranteed to be safe. Wouldn't be surprised to see him throw something in front. If he throws Quinn in front, this is actually quite nice for us, but didn't get what we wanted. Now this Misfortune's going to flip. We're going to have to Concerted Strike Misfortune. Well, we can Cataclysm. Oh, fuck Genevieve.
There's nothing like it. It's beautiful, isn't it?
That's not good. Alright, so let's go about it this way. This will flip our Garen and get him up to 6/6. Takes down Misfortune in the process, but we are about to get boomed. There's no 2 ways around that. I think he's probably going to try and just double hook Garen. If we can even survive this, then our Garen's most certainly going to fall. I think we just have to drop Action so we have a blocker. Yeah, this one's done. Let's be real. Okay. GG. We'll say that guy got the memo. I bet that dude was playing Stony Suppressor as well. He said, "I've been watching them bust videos. I got the Stony Suppressor locked and loaded." But GG. Let's see. Coming into our last one here, game number 8. See if we can't get up to that 5-3, or we're gonna be a 50-50 on the day. It's the Rumble deck. Okay. I'm never sure if these are like gonna be like the full meme decks playing just like the super loaded up Rumble, or if it's spread out a little bit more, but we'll see. See. They tend to play the things like Ruined Reckoner, is that his name, that lets you attack twice? And so you can put like a Might on Rumble and attack twice and do tons of damage. Alright, what you got for us, my dude? Poro Cannon, discarding a Risen Rider, sure. We'll play the Squire here. I think we're going to just be dropping Action next turn, but it gives us the option to give either Action or the Honored Lord a barrier. Now, or a banner. The thing we have to worry about here, though, is like we come down, we drop Action, then he plays the 4/2 and just opens on us. We're going to get like boomed for a shitload of damage unless we like single combat down the Risen Rider, which is not ideal. Like we're kind of done with the Tattered Banner Maker at this point anyways, but it's not a particularly ideal play.
We mustn't stop.
But I don't think we're in a great spot to just take 4. Maybe it's not that bad. I'm just going to go with the it's not that bad. We're about to get like big board control here with the Challenger and the Tracker, the Challenger and the Broadwing, the Barrier Challenger and the Honored Lord. We should be able to take down anything that he plans on doing. Look at this. What an expedition board, am I right? Our banner makers and our honored lords and everybody just playing Action. I dig it. I dig it. So with this, I'm looking to hook the 4/2 with the bird. I want to hook one of these little 1/1s with our Broadwing. We want to, of course, hook Draven with our barrier unit. And our others can just come in and attack. Looks pretty good. So we threaten the kill on his big unit. This is the only place we'll survive with the Broadwing on the 1/1. Honored Lord takes down Draven. Even if he has a Mystic Shot or a Whirling Death, we'll still take down Draven at the end of the day. Okay, but we will have to start watching ourselves with these single combats. It's pretty easy to forget and ignore that he's got these spinning axes in hand. Very easy to get, like if we want to say action single combat onto the Daring Poro, very easy to forget about the spinning axe.
Now we're cooking.
Okay, that's pretty positive. You did your work today, Banner Maker.
Look at them shaking in their boots.
I know, Action, they're shaking right in their boots. Gonna be a whirling death onto Action? That's okay. Onto the bird. This is gonna come at us with the fearsomes. Which is a little scary. We only have the one Honored Lord that can block. I mean, we still have 2 single combats, but I always feel safer if we have physical blockers on the board. Okay. This should force him into attacking right now. He's not playing any follow-up cards after this. And then we'll see what we can do from here. Planning on just being a single combat. Block one, single combat the other one.
Sharpen my blade for you.
And so now this way, if he has a Whirling Death, we still take 0 damage, right? Though the Whirling Death will pop the barrier, will single combat down the unblocked unit, and then the blocked one will just bounce because it's got a unit in front of him. Looks pretty good to me. I don't know how good it looks to you, but looks pretty good to me. We are running out of cards, though. That's a thing to worry about here. We will be flipping this Warlord's Palace next turn, but... Oh! There's the damage. Alright. So I definitely don't feel as safe. Do we not ever, like, not attack with action? So that, like, what if we just hit for 2 and then next turn we take that 5 thing? I can't bring myself to do that. We're too far away from lethal. But right, there's definitely a reason to not attack with action there so that we get the Warlord's thing next turn so we can get the Sandstone Charger off of the Relic. But I think we're fine. We'll get some big board here. Go with the Bright Steel. We have 2 interactive units already. The downside with our interactive units is they can't do more than 2 damage, but we'll deal with that as the time comes. Poro Cannon. You got it.
Let me get you that fire. I've got your back.
Slightly awkward in this, right? If we want to use the action grappling hook, we have to count on the Bright Steel target to be the thing to do it. We just put it on a 2-attack unit, which is a little bit short, but turned out to not be super relevant here. And then if he like follows up with one of these little Daring Poros, we can still grappling hook down. Uh-oh. How bad's this? Whirling Death? Not excited about that. Okay, well, if we're going to lose the unit either way, let's go ahead and spend the single combat. But this is a real problem now, right? He's got 2 Poros in hand along with 2 spinning axes. We did just miss out on a Whirling Death. Oh, the Sharp Sight. It's a pretty choice time for you to show up. Pop it. Get another tick up on action. We'll flip into the big horde next turn. Looks good. Looks good. He's only got 1 card in hand that we don't know about. Oh, we just get this thing now. Even better, I guess. So, I mean, do we just draw 2 at this point? I don't really care about giving the enemies vulnerable. I don't remember what our strongest ally would be. It's probably just like a 2-attack unit. Let's just draw 2 cards. It's a non-zero chance we can play this stuff. We have a bunch of mana over here.
My shield is yours.
It's like I'm willing to bet he's just sitting on a decimate. We could have done this a little bit slower, so we could have taken down both units, but I think we're going to get it. And cool. So that will do it. Not 3 and 3, 5 and 3. Not a bad day from Garen. Don't try to take it away from him. And so let's pull this up. We can talk about it a little bit more. And so, I mean, yeah. In terms of, is this the best thing you can be doing with these action decks? No. I think Action Sivir has a pretty big stranglehold on the current meta in terms of being a good action deck, and then I guarantee you Action Sivir is the best in terms of doing weird shit like Action Victor and Action Lee Sin. Just the best action deck in the format is with Sivir. I 100% grade her that. But this is, Garen's last day in the sun, if you will. He doesn't get too much attention out here in the current meta, mainly because of Sivir, right? There's not a ton of reason to be playing Vanguard Bannerman. The Sivir plus Absolver combo is huge. Sivir with the vulnerable cards like Merciless Hunter is pretty strong. And then her having Spell Shield gets us out of a lot of these problems that we just ran into with Garen. And so I wholeheartedly admit that Sivir is better than Garen, but, this does circle us back to some of these other ideas in that what if we want to play an Allegiance deck like with the Bannerman? What if we want to play elites, right? If we imagine, the next set comes out and there's a new elite out there, or the next set comes out, or the patch hits and Garen is now like a really like meaty 3/4 for 3 mana with some kind of cool ability attached to it. There's lots of powerful things that could immediately come from a deck like this. This base of Fleet Feather Tracker, Petricite, Broadwing, Brightsteel Protector really take you places. And then this concept of growing your units that you've just taken over a board with, the kind of snowball effect there is really powerful. And then the rally effect is quite strong as well. And so I think this kind of like shell of a deck is always going to exist. And then just kind of fit in the best champions, right? We don't really care about playing Action, but what would like Lucian have done in any of those games, right? Action was coming down and drawing cards and forcing combats and getting quick attack challenges and doing this and that, doing all kinds of shit, as to where Lucian would have just, he has more stats, he has quick attack, he's very similar, but I think the big thing here is this shell of the challengers, the way to protect them, the growing the board, and the rallies. And so that'll be the thing to keep in mind for the future. Again, if you're wanting to do some serious climbing, stick with Action Sivir. If you're wanting to play Gauntlet, stick with Action Sivir. If you're wanting to have a good time with Garen before he gets reworked, this should be a pretty good way to do it. I'm glad that we got some good games in there with him. We got to showcase some of his relevance in getting rallies and having that powerful rally ability on our opponent's turn, and opponents having to really pay attention and deal with him, because he's not terrible, right? He's not one of the worst champions. He's just being 5 mana is a big ask, and he needs a little bit more sustainability than just having tough or regenerate, whatever it is. But nonetheless, that's going to do it for us today. Hope everyone enjoyed the video. You learned how to send off Garen the right way. You maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.